All right, let's see if I qualified here. See if I got anything going. See if I made the next round in seventh, the minus 12, and it's you have to shoot. There's you've got to get the minimum score of minus 12, and that's that. Even those par fives are gettable. You've got to get eagles on those par fives. You have to figure it out, and there's two of the par fours that you just have to pick up. So really, like minus 14 is where it starts. So I would imagine there's going to be anything above minus 14. You're starting to talk about being in a really good spot. Minus 15, standing alone. So if they put this qualifying round with 10 others to make a bracket, that means the top scores coming in, there's going to be 10 people with minus 15. So anybody that can break through that, there's so many opportunities on this course to pick up a shot. I think every hole except for hole number 9. Hole number 9 definitely is get your eagle. Now the other one, get your eagle and go home. You do have shots. Right, making it to the open round. Got a couple days. Now let me see here real quick and just one-on-one. I don't think that any of the lower tours you can play Glen Monarch, but I know they changed some of the courses, but I don't think they moved Glen Monarch this low. No way. Granite Point's a good course. My favorite course in Tour 8. Glen Monarch only in Tour 12. What a bummer. Alright, so I guess I'm going to have to burn a few practice tokens. Let's go play a few of these holes. Hold on 1 minute. Alright, I'm back. I went and watched, so I have no idea where I was at in the video. I went and watched my round from yesterday so that I at least had some notes so I could take a look at some of these holes. So let's go look at some of these Glen Monarch holes real quick. Glen Monarch. So hole number 1. This is definitely rough bump, par 3. Excellent chance for hole in 1. There's a couple of these holes. This hole right here, I want to try this hole one time. I'm gonna try the white line. I want to see if I bring out. We'll have to see what hole in the tournament that is. That is hole number 1. That is hole number 1. So let me think what I would need. I think in this case right here, even though my Apocalypse hits farther, my Extra Mile is probably a better club because it has more topspin. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. Let's see what we have to think about here. Not qualifying. Let's do practice. Variable wind. Nice. Wonder if it tells us when we qualify. And I already qualified, so. Variable wind. I'm going to bring 2 bags. Bring an Extra Mile. I think I'm going to need to bring a Power 5 ball. And I used a rose ball and made it over there before. And I know I don't have any of those balls. And this might be the ball right here. So Power 5, topspin boost of 3. Help get you over. Its wind's bad, so if we're getting any kind of headwind, the deal is this Megalodon ball is a good ball in headwind, but its needle speed blows. I could use an APOC, or excuse me, a Berserker. I'm going to use a Berserker. we'll see what we can get. We'll go in there and just see what we can get done. I want to look at that shot one more time. I think if we're on these types of holes, we have to at least consider the opportunity. If there's too many people that are going to be trying to get on in one, and there's too many people that are going to have practiced that enough during the week that every round they got the eagle on that hole. So like we have to keep up with the Joneses. Let's practice. We're going to practice. And hole number 1, extra mile. We're in APOC. Now, the consistent shot is to hit it up there with a Kingmaker. You can use a Katana, you can use a Marlin, but the bigger ball you bring, the deeper you are into your short iron on the other side. Oh, that's a good win for us. I can catch it. Just barely. Man, I don't think I need all of the topspin. I'm going to put almost all of it on. I'll be dead center in the middle of that, give myself as much room as possible. It's about 2.5 rings. It's 1.5 per ring. I'm going to put the distance back on it. That's probably going to hurt me. Hitting it perfect. And see if I can catch that fairway and what kind of run I can get. Was in just a little too far, put a little too much curl on it. I'll go back and watch that video and be able to put a tick mark. Because I probably only needed put that wind back on there and I missed the back of that fairway. I'll have to go back and watch that and see what happened. That's one of the cool things about recording your own gameplay, is that you can go back and watch that video and you can see like where it landed and what the deal was and actually diagnose the shot. Get a pretty good idea too with tailwind how much it's affecting the ball. Just a bit too much. Still get some practice here though. This is definitely not the ball to try and hit it from. There's half. Man, I'm getting down into that. I hate it when I see that. It's about 8 per ring. So I'm going to move it. Just a little less than a half a ring. Hitting it perfect. We'll see if I got it right. In the hole! In the hole! Still got a shot when you're up close like that. Those clubs are super, super accurate. It's really hard. I have a hard time grappling my head around it because the way that the ring stuff works is you're always thinking like less per ring is more accurate. But in the case when you get really close with this rough iron and sand wedge, especially because of their range, they get super accurate to the point where it's the reverse, where it's like 8 per ring. So like on your driver, you can imagine if on your, you know, it's a really small adjustment. Real small. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, so that was, we got it in, but that was not the shot we were looking for. So let me think about that hole a little bit. I do like, I think if we have tailwind, and that tailwind was helping me, if we'd had any headwind where I was at on a max overpower shot with any kind of headwind at all, I mean, pretty much anything that's blowing from this side of that line, you're probably not going to be able to make it even with a 5-power ball. Now, if you had a 5-power low wind ball, that could change the deal. I'm sure they're out there. But if they're anything like that Megalodon ball, it doesn't have the needle speed blows when you're doing max overpower. And this is a shot that you really do want to try and hit perfect. You got a very small window down there. But I think we can get on in one. But you have a very consistent over and over shot doing this one right here. Let's look at hole number 3. Went through and played. Okay, this is a hole right here that I need to get a little bit of practice on, because the first time through on this hole, trying to get to this pad, obviously if you're on the other side, it's better. But I usually end up where I'm really trying to hit is mid, because that's a pretty easy spot to get to. And then it's just about working out the second shot. So I've played it twice, ended up over here both times. And there's a flagpole right here. I started off going dead center right at the flagpole and clipped. I moved it out 5 rings, put my white ring on it, and I hit the fairway, and then I clipped up here. So I still have all of the fairway to the left of me. So I'm going to add on a ring and a half to pull me out into the fairway. So now I'm working on topspin, and it looked like I had 5 and I'm going to put on 6, but I'm going to practice this hole. This hole is definitely worth taking a look at. This is a hole that we need to get every single time. And so when you get here, you do not want to have any... Let's find that hole. I think that hole is... We'll find out which one that is. And I'm going to take... There's 2 different ways that you can play this. You can play it with an extra mile because you got more topspin and you got more ball guide. And I know that the APOC hits farther, raw distance, but right here that ball guide comes in real handy. I'm going to see if I can get it done with a Titan. The king of balls. And I'm going to need, let's see, do I have one of those bags set up? I do right there. And right there just in case. Let me open up one of those chests. Why waste the time? At least get one. No, let's get 2. I think I have club card trading. Have I done my club card trading today? I don't think I've done my club card trading. I still have club card trading to do. Let's see what we get today. See if I get anything good. One of the 5 epics I'm looking for. No dice. I'll stash my trade-in for a later date. Eventually I'm going to work through all of my inventory, but and I'll have to upgrade that razor. I want to put as many points into it as possible between now and then. Let's see what we get in all of these. Getting a lot of chests today. I guess that's probably, and when you play, I suppose you get a lot of chests. All right, let's see if we can find the right hole. It's another hole we want to practice. It's another hole. Yeah, this hole right here, we need to practice. We need to make sure we got this hole down, that second shot. And I need one more round on it to dial it in. So we definitely want this working in the opening round. So I'm going to play that. I'll play it one time. One of my viewers, thank you very much, said something about the wind direction. I wasn't even paying attention to it, but it does tell you wind direction when it doesn't say variable. And this probably showed what it was, and I didn't look. That's not the hole we're looking for. Hole number 6 is the hole we are looking for, and it's a variable wind. maybe we can get an opponent. I know we were playing this with a 3 power ball. You could use a bigger ball actually on the drive. But the second shot, and you can use that same ball on the second shot, you just have to set it up for that ball. So you can kind of make it easier on yourself all the way around if you just spread out like a 4 power ball right to start off with low wind. It wouldn't have to be too low. Because you're not putting all the topspin on it to get it over there. Well, they're putting all the topspin on. And they're leaving the wind on and they're doing max overpower. So that means that, like, if they don't end up in the rough on the other side, if they actually make it, they would have, if they would have landed in the fairway, they would have ended up in the rough. I have tried to bridge the gap there several times. Brought out a big enough ball that you could try and bridge the gap, and you can. But it's not nearly as consistent as just trying to get over. Did I have to use all the time? Oh, if I wanted to do max overpower. Four, 5. I'm going to do a little less than 4 or 5 so it'll push me up into that rough just a little bit. Hitting it perfect. So I can get better rollout. Excellent. Right where I wanted to be. So with a tailwind, you can use that to your advantage. So with a headwind here, you could pop out a 4 power ball so that it would give you enough room to work the wind out. The deal is, it'll screw with that second shot. So I think if we're going against any kind of headwind, we want to set that shot up so that we're doing a max overpower shot. Because we'll get more, you might get more consistency than trying to do just a little bit of overpower. All right, there's the... And I'm going to do max and 6. There's 4, 5, 6 topspin. And I'm right at it. And I'm going to go about a ring and a half out. Take the wind out. It's 1.8 per ring, so there's 3, 6. It's about 4, 5. Max overpower hook. See if I can catch the fairway right here. Catch the fairway on the second bounce, running towards the green, and so I went out too far on the ring and a half. So now I'm playing the clock game. So I'll go in about 3/4 and I'll cut the distance and see where that puts me. That'll put me a little high, but I'd rather run high because then it drifts down to the cup. You can start off up high and it's down, coming down the hill. This spot where I'm at being up high, in my mind, I would rather be in front down here hitting up to the cup than to be where I'm at having to hit down this damn hill. But I do have a shot. I'm close. I think I can do... I think I can run some topspin out. Hitting it perfect. See if we can drop that in the cup. We need to get that eagle every single time. So that spot right there, I'd say even maybe in the ring, between 3/4 of a ring to a ring out. That'll bring it in just a little bit more and get you more on the trajectory going towards the cup. Still might leave just a little teeny bit of topspin. My notes on that hole was 6. I may up that to 6.5. Still seemed like it was a little short, but if you catch the green, it'll roll around on that hill and roll back down towards the cup. So what other holes do we need to practice here? There's a couple of these holes that we need to make sure that we have something. We need to make sure that we have a game plan when we go to that hole, so when we get to the hole, we don't panic and go, okay, maybe I'll make this and maybe I won't. We want to try and standardize those shots as much as possible. Hole number 4. All right, this is another one of those holes that I was using a Kingmaker from here, but I really think that if you came out here with a bigger power ball and you started off a 3 power ball, my red line was here. A 4 power ball, my red line should be somewhere in here, and a 5 power ball, my red line might be out in this area where I can clear a little of this, where I can bring it around and I can really take the sand more out of play. I put this rough into play. And it's deeper on this side. So I mean, it's quite a big spread right there. So if you hit it too far to the right, you'll end up getting caught in that rough. But I'm gonna bring another Berserker and see like what it looks like on that hole. I want to practice that hole one time because that's the shot that I'm gonna take. I've done and had a ton of success laying the ball up over in this range, depending on which way the wind's blowing, and doing that straight up shot to the cup. There's a great shot from over here once again, I'd rather go up to the cup instead of down the hill to the cup. I'm going to try and get on in 1. Let's try that one more time, but I'm going to see if I can I'm going to see what difference a power 5 ball makes. I did it with a power 3, but I want to see what it looks like. And this is another spot where that APOC ball guide blows. And I'm not sure when it gets more ball guide. I'm not sure if it gets, I don't think it does get ball guide on its next level. It might. It might. Let's bring another Berserker. Let's try that Berserker out one more time, just so we can see what just a general 5 power ball will do. I could bring it's either that bag or that bag. I'm going to start off with that bag. We'll see where we're at. But if I can get up there farther, I might not need an Apocalypse. Let's practice. Hole number 2, hole number 3, hole number 4. And there's a bunch of holes here to practice. We already practiced that one. Yep, this is the one right here. All right, let's go play this one. Let's see if I can replicate it, or let's see what it looks like with a power 5 ball. It's possible with power 3. And I hit it 2 rings great to the left and ended up like that. If I would have hit it any farther to the left, I would have ended up in the sand, but I just barely cleared it. And so I had plenty of room on a perfect with a 3 power ball. But with a 5 power ball, we may not have to do overpower. And anytime we can do a shot and not have to do any overpower, that is awesome. Awesome. I go first. All right, let's see if it's dashing my dreams. It is dashing my dreams. I can get up there and get further into that hole. Now it's all a question of topspin. Let's switch bags. No, I'm just barely clearing. I definitely would like to be there. I'm going to try this one more time with my APOC and see if this is replicatable. If I hit it perfect. 3-5. I'm going to have to snap it. I hit it 2 rings great to the left, or to the right, which is the opposite of what I hit it last time, and that was straight through the middle. So like that zone right there where I was dead center, that looked like, it looked to me like right there that there was stuff on the other side of that that would be able to still make it. But if you're doing a max OP shot there, it gives you a 2 ring great to the left and the right, and you can still bleed through. But all of these holes right here are holes that we have got to go out and get. We have to pick up the eagle on these par 4s. We have to give ourselves the best opportunity. This may be one of those tournaments where it goes our way and we do a shot to try and get on, and it goes our way and we get it both times. And it may be one of those tournaments where you got some of them, but you didn't get it down on the others. And somebody out there is going to put it all together and they're going to get all of them. And then they're looking at the par 3s as the way that they can win the tournament, because the par 3s, picking up the par 3s is the winning shots. So if you wait till the end of the week to get these shots down so that you can count them in your bag, where you can now start really focusing on the par 3s. I suppose you should be focused on the par 3s the whole time, but these are the shots right here that really, picking up those par 3s doesn't do you a lot of good. Getting those hole-in-ones doesn't do you a lot of good if you can't maintain the minimum score. And on these types of holes, like, you're just going to have to get an eagle. Whatever clubs you have, you'll just have to bring out the right equipment as far as ball. I mean, that's the whole deal. I mean, I'm just a messenger. PD's the ball salesman. They own the manufacturing company, so they make these holes so that, like, that's the deal. I don't like the deals where they have the split balls where you get 5 of one, 5 of another. I bought some of those, but the deal is that I like it better when you get 10 balls. Because you can use some for practice, or you can play 2 tournament holes. You know that that's a ball that you're going to use for certain holes, so you can have it for 2 holes. All right, let's check out the next hole. There are a ton of these holes we need to practice, because we're doing... Okay, there's another one of the par 3s. I'm not practicing them right now. These last 3 holes. This one right here, I first time ended up hitting the rough right here, ending up in the sand rough over on the other side. I started off white ring off the transition between the sand and the rough. I moved it out about a ring and a half, and clipped right here, and was on the trajectory, and put on max topspin and ended up in the sand trap. So my trajectory took me coming through, going like this, and I want to end up in this zone. I'm okay with that trajectory, because I'm trying to, you can see that trajectory runs parallel to this, and I want to stay as far away from that as possible, because on this side over here it rolls down, and it actually rolls down towards the lake here. So if you hit from the front, you really need backspin clubs. But I want to keep my trajectory to the left so that I can run more in this fairway. But that on the left-hand side, there isn't as much, not as much distance. So just lay it up right here on the side and then chip it up. That's the goal. So let's see if we can get that done. Let's see if we can get it done with a extra mile. And so with the extra mile, I'm only using, I think it was 5 topspin. I'm looking at my notes here. Yep, this par 4, so 5 topspin, extra mile, katana. Or as Dale Appleby, katanas. So my notes, oh, I did the wrong one. Practice. Let's find this hole. Doing the hook on this hole right here. I think I won't be able to practice anymore because I don't have any more practice tokens. I should have bought one of those tees that gives me practice tokens. Alright, this wind is going to be problematic for us. That's 5 topspin. And I'm going to do a little more because of this wind. Ring and a half out. 3-5. I'm going to do a little bit of an overpull. And I got all of it. Let's see if I get the same kind of trajectory against that headwind. Woo, that was almost too far in. And I had my distance was better because I'm actually trying to get into this opening. I was a little bit set up to the left. I didn't really need to overpull it against that wind. I should have just did a normal wind adjustment. What you're doing there is, I mean, you can't pull the wind out, but you can at least take the side wind out. And so I overpulled that side wind. Not good. I can fix that problem too by going out just a little teeny bit further. And my opponent is in the perfect spot. Crowd goes wild. Nice shot. Nice shot. That's exactly what we're looking for right there. Although I will say that this shot right here, if I can hit it perfect, will go in the hole. All right, let's hit it perfect. Two rings straight to the right. And then missed 2 rings straight to the right. That's a shot right there we've got to get in the bag. And have to chase the wind just a titch. My notes say 1.5 rings out from the sand. And I might have been more towards 1. But I think 2 is too much. It gets real, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal when you're doing those max overpower hooks. And I know that there's lots of people that do them in lots of different ways. A lot of people count their rings. And the very first time I go out there, I somewhat do that. But then once you find a spot, you know the area. So then you need to learn how to adjust for the different winds that come up. All right. That hole did not work out. And I have 0 tokens. Hold on. All right, I took a break, came back. Can't remember where I was at. I think I was right here. So we were talking about hole number 8. I needed to get some more practice tokens. So in the qualifying round, I put on 3 topspin, and I'm pretty sure it's just 2 topspin, especially if you're using an extra mile. And this area along this transition right here, pretty much where that white dot's at, right in that area is where you're looking at landing with an extra mile. You can get a little bit farther forward with an APOC, which is what I'm trying right here. I caught the slide, and so I don't, it wasn't too much topspin, but once it started, it got to that third bounce and it started sliding across the green and it ended up in that sand trap, and that's no bueno. If you get in this front sand trap, I believe if you're way up in the front, you can get on with a Spitfire, but if you're in the second sand trap, you are screwed. I'm going to try this one more time. And I'm going to do it with, let's make sure I got the right ball. It's hole number 9. Hole number 9 of the current tournament. I'm going to take an Apocalypse. And for that second shot, I want to start off with a big dog, even though I think if I can get in the right spot, I think I can do that with a sniper. But I think a big dog gives me more versatility. If I'm a little short, I won't have any problems with it. And I'm going to use a Titan, the king of balls. I had to go out and play a hole so that I could get some more practice tokens. Hole number 9. Play it one time. There's quite a few holes in this tournament that we've got to get the shots worked out and have some confidence in them as we're going into the rounds. It used to not be so important about the tiebreakers. The tiebreakers are so important now. You can't afford... You got to have a game plan when you get to the opening round for damn sure. And we have so many opportunities to pick up these eagles on these par 4s. The par 5s, they're just... They got some really good par 5. This is... Glenmarnock, these par 5s are how this game should play. You should be scrambling to try and get the eagle. And really having to work at it. I like it. Now my opponent with that win is going to be able to get over. And if they do max curl here, hit it good to the left. That's putting them in risk of the... Let's see where they land out here. Looks nice. Nice. They'll easily be able to get on from there. Easily. And that's just the deal with the power 5 ball. Man, even with that, I could probably get up into the range. If I up that to a power 4 ball, I can easily get over there. If I leave the wind in, let the wind carry me, I'm going to go from right there and see how effective my curl is. And that was 75,000 rings good to the right. Good to the right. That's got to be 3 or 4 rings. Way off. But I'm pretty sure that from this area that I'm at right there, that like it's a guaranteed eagle. Like I'm in my same kind of range that my opponent's in, where you can get over with your Nirvana and you actually can go for it. I think that the angle, if you do the layup out there, is pretty difficult to get back around to the hole. Nice shot. I might be taking this shot because I think that this might be the, like, would I rather be in the fairway? Yes, but I think I have a shot here. It might be my best shot at actually picking up the Albie. At this range, it should be about 2 per ring. So there's 2. There's 2.5. There's about 2.7. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. If you hit it into the other spot, you can find yourself, especially if your original landing zone has any variance to it, you can find yourself the angle coming into the green. You've got to contend with the sand trap that's on the left-hand side. And anything we can do to standardize these par 5s, we definitely want to do it. And if bringing out a power 4 ball, and the deal is that if I had any headwind there, I would have had to bring out a power 5 ball. And I missed. Whoa! That was so close. I couldn't miss. So that's hole number 9 in the tournament. Hole number 8 of the actual Glen Monarch course. Let's go check out hole number 9. Hole number 9 is also a hole that we're going to want to... Hole number 9 in the Glen Monarch Estates. This hole right here is another one of these holes that's it's a tough par 5. Now, it's the case on most par 5s that if you tank your drive shot, you're sunk. I can think of maybe a few that you could recover if you slightly mess up your drive shot, but this is not one of those holes. If you're not in the fairway out here on the tip with a 3 power ball, and you can get out there deep enough with a sniper, but it's a much tougher shot with a sniper. You would be better served to come here with a Guardian or with a Big Dog. The Guardian you can do a lot of stuff with because you can fight up against headwind. You could max overpower it and use a lot of backspin to stick it up on the green. The Big Dog is going to give you some topspin, backspin options. So if you find yourself a little short of where you'd like to be, the Big Dog's got enough topspin to work for you to catch up. If you're as deep in there as you want to get, it's got backspin. But when we talk about club itself, I think Ball Guide, once you get your Guardian up and level, it has just a little bit better ball guide. Accuracy is not that big of an issue. It finally gets some accuracy when it gets up and level. I'm going to take my Big Dog, and I want to take a bag with an extra mile. Now you can, if you find yourself, if you've got lower developed clubs, or to help yourself, it can help you on the drive, but it may be super critical on the second shot, depending on the clubs you have in your bag and where you're consistently ending up, where you can end up on that drive shot. You may have to bring out a 4 or 5 power ball because the second shot is a long shot. So if you're going to bring a 3 power ball, you've got to end up in the right spot. We'll see what kind of headwind. See if we have any headwind here. Let's see which hole this is. It's hole number 3. We have variable wind. I think I can actually use an Apocalypse on this hole. I need about 5 topspin. So my notes say extra mile, Kingmaker, or open ball, depending on which way the wind's blowing, or a 4 power ball, depending on which way the wind's blowing. 4 1/4 topspin, or excuse me, 5 1/4. That would fit the bill on my APOC and give me a little bit more raw distance. That wind works. That wind will play. Three, 2. It's 2.1 per ring, so there's 3, 2.5. Hit a one ring great to the right. Right is scary. It's in the sand. I'm going to make a note here on my sheet, and I'm going to add on that drive. I hit it perfect in the qualifying round and was able to clip that and ended up in the right spot. But I did notice that where I'd set it up from where I landed, that it did move the ball a little bit more than the adjustment that I made. So I'm going to add on a little bit of wind there, because it looked like I had a one ring great to the right. Where I really want to end up is out in this area right here. So clip the rough and bleed out into that. That's where we really want to be. So let's see what kind of distance. Yesterday, well, on Monday in the qualifying round, I was able to get on with a sniper, and I was right. I got about as deep into the drive shot as I could get with that shot, and was able to eke myself up onto the fringe. But I would have liked to have had about 10 more yards on the club, which is what I have now. About 13 more yards actually. Man, that ball guide blows. Let's see if I can do a little bit of a rough bump here. 2-3, it's 1.8 per ring. I'm going to do 1.5 rings. Hitting it perfect. See if we can clip that rough. I think if I don't clip that rough, if I try and I either need to get farther into the hole or I need to bring a bigger ball. So, and there's no getting farther. There's not much more to get farther into that hole. There's a little. I did leave myself a little bit of distance there on that shot. But I think the key here is to just respect the second shot and bring out a bigger ball. Every time, regardless of the wind. If you bring out a bigger ball, it's not going to affect the drive shot that much. But the second shot, you're definitely going to need it if you got a headwind. I'll play that one more time. I'm going to play it one more time just so I can try and get that drive shot. This particular drive shot bouncing off doing the rough bump. This is the last tournament that this hole was in that I played. I started doing that shot to get me over. In the past, I've done more of what you see a lot of people do, where they're trying to bounce over that little finger of rough and sand that's down there and actually roll out into that area. And I'm not sure, that's a second bounce rough bump is always brutal because you're starting off right here. If I can get my pen to work, you're starting off right here's the tee box, and you're going to this spot, and that's your first bounce, and your second bounce is up here. So one ring off, you hit a one ring great to the right, you're one ring off at this point, but when we extend that angle out, you're suddenly 2 rings off on a second bounce. And so where we're setting that up in the rough, there is a little bit of variance, a little bit of play, but it's very easy to find yourself clipping the fairway and rolling forward if you don't hit it perfect or ending up in that sand. It really is a shot that you want to hit perfect. Let's play that hole one more time. Let's play it one more time. Shot of the round. Practice now. Hole number 3. Let's play it one more time. One more, and then we'll finish this up. It was in 3 sections, so if you've listened all the way up to this point, thanks for watching. I think I have a good game plan on just about every one of the holes that these par 4s. I've had a lot of success on this hole, but this is one of those holes that it's one shot at a time. Any screw up and you're in big trouble. If we can find an opponent. Thank you, Inspector. Inspector goes first. So in the past, I've tried to get over this little area right here, but what I don't like about that shot is where you're setting it up in this area. I like to leave myself a couple rings of separation, so that puts me to the right, and that puts the little peninsula a little bit to the left, so then I've got to bring it around, and it actually shortens me up on how far I can get out on that tip. That rough area just looks so damn big. I'm going to do 10% from there. So that'd be 3.5. There's 3.1, 3.5. Little teeny bit into power. Hitting it perfect. Clip the rough. Just barely. And I've got a lot of distance in front of me. I could run out more topspin and pull back to get that second bounce in there so that when I come out, I've got more topspin on. And that might be the way to go, because that'll give me a little bit more leeway if I've got headwind. And just run all the topspin on, so when I come out, I'm at least coming out with max topspin. Let's see what kind of distance I got here. Let's see if it's the same as what I had a minute ago. A little bit farther back. .8. I'm going to change that up just a little. So I'm right at the red line. I'm going to pull it back just a little and add on a little more topspin. I'm going to add on max topspin and try and find the spot from there. So 1.8, that leaves me 12. It's about a ring and 2/3. Hitting it perfect. See if I can clip that rough. Just barely. Just barely. That was close. And I'm not talking about the shot to the cup. I'm talking about the second bounce by the sand. That was close. Close. I didn't add quite enough power on. I added on just enough power to get me over, but I needed to add a little teeny bit more. Those types of rough bumps, when trying to do overpower on something like that, is just no good. It's so easy to get it under or over so that you hit too fat in the rough or you miss the rough entirely. I definitely think switching to a 4 power ball on this hole will be beneficial. So I'm going to make a change on my notes, and I'm going to put a 4 power ball. And I really don't think that our shot at Albie there, like that, we don't really. Obviously, you can make a run at the cup, but as far as a consistent Albie, that hole just seems problematic to me. What kind of power 4 balls we got? I like something that cuts the wind down a little. Four, 3, 3. Kingmaker X. That might be the ball. I think that is the ball. That's going to be it. That's a 3 power ball. That cuts the wind down even a little bit more. But we don't necessarily need the side spin there. But that might not be a bad ball for it. It cuts the wind down both sides. But it's really the shot going into the cup. If you've got tailwind, it's headwind that you would want to cut that down. All right, I'm going to put, I'm going to use a Kingmaker X. King X. I don't think I need anything more than that. All right, there we have it. That was my going through my notes from the qualifying round, making notes, and then going out there and trying to get a really good game plan on the par 4s and the par 5s. We got to get eagle. We have to shoot the minimum score of -12. We have to get eagle on all these par 5s. And we need to give ourselves the best opportunity on all 3 par 4s to pick up an eagle. I mean, there's going to be too many people in our brackets that are going to get eagle on all the par 5s and eagle on all the par 4s, and we have to keep up with them. So that puts us at -15 for any shot, so that if we pick up a hole-in-one on one of those par 3s, we're instantaneously giving ourselves an opportunity for a banner. And I think that's the way that this round's going to go, is that you're going to have to shoot the -15 just as the matter of course, and then you're going to have to work from there. So I can really see somebody shooting, that's 30, I mean, shooting 32s, 34s. If they're on fire on those par 3s, that's absolutely attainable. Thanks for watching, and have a good week, and hopefully everybody has a great opening round.